We live in a pretty normal countryside town a couple of hours from Tokyo. But go just 30 minutes into the nearby mountains and you'll arrive at Japan's most well-known resort town, Karuizawa. With more vacation homes than actual homes, this place doesn't feel like your typical Japanese town. This weekend, we've been invited by some friends who have just started up a small business to come and stay and check it out. So we thought this would be the perfect opportunity to take you along as we dive deeper into Karuizawa and find out what it's like to live and vacation in Japan's most elite resort town.
Karuizawa is really well known as a resort town in Japan, and there are a lot of homes here that are vacation homes, especially for pretty wealthy people in Tokyo because it is so close to the main city. And honestly, it does not feel like a typical Japanese town at all. And a big reason for that are building guidelines that they have here in the town. So for example, houses cannot be built taller than 10 meters. They have to be a particular distance from a property line. And as you can see around me, a lot of the time the fences are really quite short. And all of this is to keep the town in harmony with nature, which at least you can appreciate that it is doing that. It is quite nice and calm and cool and peaceful.
As we spent the morning walking through the quiet residential streets, it was easy to see why wealthy Tokyoites escape here. Karuizawa sits at 1,000 meters above sea level, making it a good 6 degrees cooler than Tokyo in summer. But just how many of these houses are vacation homes? Well, as of 2025, there's around 16,400 besso, as they're known in Japanese, or vacation homes in Karuizawa. That's compared to 8,500 homes occupied by local residents. A quick search on the real estate website Sumo reveals what you can expect if you were looking to get in on the property market here. For a new home with 3 or 4 bedrooms, they start in the hundreds of thousands of dollars and quickly begin to climb into the millions of dollars. One of the most expensive we saw was this quite fancy looking home not too far from the main train station. On the other hand, if you don't mind getting an older, used home, then you can actually find some relatively cheap houses like this property built in the 1990s. However, for more modern used homes, prices do rise into the hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars as well. Rumor has it that it's not just wealthy Japanese people who are buying up vacation homes in Karuizawa, but Bill Gates himself also has an incredibly extravagant house here too.
Man, that is an absolutely beautiful front yard. Look at all that moss.
I was just gonna say what makes it beautiful, and there you go. There you have it. It's
that makes
the
me
moss.
jealous. I want a front yard like that. Wow.
As we're walking along these quite beautifully forested streets, it reminds me that Karuizawa was actually the first town that I thought, hey, let's move there when we were looking for a place to move to from Tokyo to the countryside. And it seems kind of crazy now, but the main reason was because we drove through Karuizawa one time in autumn and the autumn leaves were popping. We saw all these like really, really cute little houses in the forest with, you know, the chimneys with the smoke coming out and the mountains in the background. And I thought, this is where I'm going to live my cozy mountain life. So we came and we looked at a couple of places for renting, but luckily all of the real estate agents, we saw 3, and they were all like, honestly, this is a resort town. It's really not for renting and living permanently. We recommend Saku next door. And that's where we ended up.
As we made our way towards the main shopping street in town looking for a bite to eat, the quiet, shaded residential streets gave way to a busy tourist area. We were visiting on a weekend, and that is certainly not ideal if you're trying to avoid crowds. You see, Karuizawa can be reached in just over an hour by a direct bullet train from Tokyo, making it not only popular for the wealthy, but also for anyone in Tokyo looking to escape the heat. And honestly, the town has set itself up pretty well. Right next to the train station is a massive outlet mall, and just beyond that, a ski field. Honestly, it feels like being in Tokyo, but just surrounded by rolling mountains and with that feeling that you're not going to just collapse at any moment from heat stroke. But back to the shopping street we were on called Ginza Street. Luckily, we discovered that if you venture off the main street just a little, there are some very cute cafes tucked down leafy pathways. Of course, the food did come with a somewhat elevated price for what you'd expect in Japan, but at least the atmosphere was nice. They're playing a good match there.
Are they?
Yeah.
Do you know a really interesting fact about the tennis courts of Karuizawa?
Well, I do, because you told me.
Do you want to share it with everyone?
No, because I've forgotten it.
Oh no. Okay. Everyone, the former emperor of Japan met his future wife back in the 1950s right here. Maybe not right here on this specific tennis court, but at one of the tennis courts in Karuizawa. And it garnered a lot of interest because it was the first time that someone from the imperial family married a commoner, so to say.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that.
While there was still a lot we could have checked out in Karuizawa, it was time for us to try something a bit different. We headed 30 minutes further up the mountain to Kita Karuizawa, or North Karuizawa in English. Here, you can still find cute cafes and second homes tucked in the forest, but it's a lot more laid back and unassuming compared to central Karuizawa. My work colleague Matt and his wife Hiroko moved here a couple of years ago and started up a small business. In the front is a pottery studio where Hiroko works and runs classes, while in the back is a cute guest house that can be rented out. In between trying and, let's be honest, mostly failing to do some pottery ourselves, we're going to find out a bit more about what it's like to live and work here.
I was actually in finance after I graduated, which was in 2009. And I was working for a company, corporate, for about 4 years. And then I was just traveling around and not really doing much for about 2 years. And then I got into pottery school when I was about 25. So that was about 12 years ago? Jesus, it's been 12 years.
Hiroko finished setting up the clay for us, and then before we knew it, it was our turn to give it a go. But before getting into the impending disaster, and disaster it was, we have one extra question for Hiroko. Why did she and Matt choose Kita Karuizawa, of all places, to settle in?
Matt and I, we were looking for a place to relocate for about 3 years. And there's a word in Japanese, I don't know if you know, iijusha. That means people who's relocated. Mm-hmm. And most people living here are iijusha. They're from somewhere else. And they're just more used to having outsiders come and join their community, and they all help each other. And I guess it was just easier for foreigners to move here and become a part of the community.
It was interesting to hear Hiroko's answer to this, because once we thought about it, we realized our experience has been somewhat similar in Saku, the countryside town we moved to a year ago. Because it's on the bullet train line, making it easily accessible from Tokyo, Saku has attracted quite a few people from the big city who are looking for a countryside change. This is true of our neighbors, a really sweet Japanese couple who moved in not long after us. And it's been a lovely experience sharing tips and tricks with them about the new community we've joined.
Ganbaro.
Oh my god, I'm nervous. What the hell?
Now, this part I actually wasn't listening very well because I was so focused on filming.
Okay, so the most important job is going to be done with your thumb.
Okay.
And you want to place it over here on your side. I'm kind of mirroring
Like
you right now.
perpendicular?
Yeah,
Like this?
yeah. And the tip of your thumb want to be in the very center, in the very middle.
Okay.
And you want to start pushing in.
With this one?
Yeah.
I've had a disaster. I don't know. It was looking so good.
Oh,
like a
it's
second
gotten
ago.
a little bit too thin here.
Do you need me to spin this or do you need me to stop it?
What do you think? Do you like the shape? Do you want to do it all over again? You could. We can just call it the practice round.
We enjoy filming, but let us loose on any other artistic task that involves our hands and things fall apart fast. Quite literally.
I think we should start over,
again.
right?
It is so hard.
But don't worry, this is just your first shot.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. Do not be sorry.
But thanks to Hiroko's unyielding patience and kind instruction, and if we're being honest, a bit of hands-on help, we eventually made ourselves an alright looking bowl each.
No, that's perfect. 上手だよ。
ありがとうございます。嬉しい。
すごい上手だよ。
You did it!
You did!
Yay.
Yay!
I like yours too, Amy. It's looking fabulous.
Yeah.
We've done it! Look at that too! As I said before, probably 50% us, 50% Hiroko. Because look at these ones in the front. These are 3 that just, did not go so well. Particularly this one.
Is that mine?
That's yours, sorry.
Yeah, it just
I
blew
did show
up.
yours.
It honestly just blew up out of nowhere in like a second. So. Yeah.
Oh dear, but that was so much fun. I'm excited. I can't wait for it actually to arrive and we can actually use them.
By the time we finished pottery, the day had gotten on and we were famished after all our hard work. So we headed over to Matt and Hiroko's place nearby to enjoy a barbecue together. Then at the end of the night, we headed back to the cozy guest house behind the pottery studio. We'll show you more of it tomorrow, but until then, good night.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I tell you what, sleeping amongst the trees and waking up to all of the bird noises, like that one, is beautiful. It's been really lovely then.
Yeah, it's been spectacular and it's been so cool too, actually.
Oh,
We had our jumpers on last night. It's the middle of Japanese summer. Like, what the hell?
yep, we had our jumpers on, we slept with just windows open and a fan on, and it's really nice here. Oh my gosh. So from here, we're gonna go to do a little bit more sightseeing this morning in kind of this slower part of Kita Karuizawa.
If you'd like to do pottery with Hiroko or book a stay in the guest house, we'll leave a link to her business, Deep Gorge Pottery, in the video description below. We'll hear from Hiroko again a little later, but first, let's go do some sightseeing. As we drove further away from the Karuizawa area, it was amazing to see the forest holding their stylish cafes and vacation homes and a completely different kind of countryside open up.
What a lovely place we're in right now. Can you feel the love and the ambience of this place? So like there's a little bit of like a folklore about this kind of place. So there was like a deity, right? And the deity's wife sacrificed herself in the ocean. The ocean was angry or something like that. And then he was like alone and he was so sad about the loss of his wife that he came up to this point and he just cried and cried and cried and cried. And so the name of this point is called Tsumagoi.
Well, the area is called that now.
Area, yeah. And Tsuma is wife and Koi is love, right? And so you put it together, it's just like the place's meaning is just love for your wife, right? Yeah.
And look behind Roy. There is the golden rules to try to be a loving husband. Try and do some housework to your wife's delight. Try and express your gratitude whenever you feel it.
Yes, I agree, everyone.
It's really sweet.
It's so sweet. I love this stuff about Japan. It's too cute.
Don't worry, you already do all of this, so you're already set.
Should we ring the love bell?
Let's ring the love bell.
Let's do it. I think what you're actually supposed to do is to stand on this like pedestal and actually just like scream out how much you love your wife. There's a lot of people here, so that's a little
Go
bit
on, then.
embarrassing. So I might just like
Go on
do
then.
this. Do you feel the love?
I love my wife.
What?
I love my wife.
I love my wife. She's so beautiful and amazing.
Arigato, I feel the love.
After hearing Roy profess his love for me, and after taking in the beautiful rolling scenery, we headed back the way we came in search of lunch. In Kita Karuizawa, we found a fantastic cafe that also has vegetable patches and a bee farm you can visit depending on the season. In such a resort-like area where people come and go depending on the season, it certainly makes you wonder what it's like to live here all year round.
It's definitely quieter in winter, which we actually enjoy. Less cars, we don't have to worry about traffic, we don't have to worry about making big noise in our house. So we enjoy that. That's why I guess we like living here, but it's not for everyone. I'm sure a lot of people would find it a little bit too quiet or maybe even lonesome, but we've made our peace with it, I think.
How about like gyakuni in summer? Is it a bit like, oh my god, please everyone leave us alone?
To be honest, just during Obon, it was terrible last year. My parents were here and we went to our nearest local farmers market, and we went there at 9 o'clock. That's when they're opening, and there was this huge line with like 150 people waiting for it to open, and it was unbelievable considering how quiet it is here during winter. But that's just during Obon. Yeah, it's not as bad usually.
We heard a similar thing when looking for rental properties in Karuizawa. But now that we've actually stayed in the area and seen Matt and Hiroko's lifestyle, has our opinion changed?
Does this convince you that you would like to live somewhere a bit more in amongst the forest and nature?
That's tough. I feel like the upkeep would be so hard. I mean, we're just here as guests, you know. What do you think?
I think that this is my dream in terms of living a little bit more, even more in nature. You know, working, having your office and looking out the window and it's just beautiful greenery. But, you know, the reason why we chose where we are now is because it's quite convenient in terms of, you know, we're only 10 minutes from the shops, from the hospital if we needed it, from our bouldering gym, and of course from the Shinkansen station. Whereas somewhere like here, you're at least a 40-minute drive from the Shinkansen station.
Yeah, that kind of makes things a little bit difficult.
But anyways, regardless of, you know, what we decide in the future, this day was really nice.
So good.
We're really excited to see our friend's business come to life. And again, if you're interested in visiting, see the link in the video description. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.